After a while, the nurse came back. She gave me some paper and crayons. Here you are. Be a good boy and draw some pictures. Your mother will be out soon. I wondered if she knew about Dribble, and that's why she was trying to be nice to me. I didn't feel like drawing any pictures. I wonder what they were doing to Fudge in there. Maybe he wasn't such a bad little guy after all. I remember that Jimmy Fargo's little cousin once swallowed the most valuable rock from Jimmy's collection. And my mother told me that when I was a little kid, I swallowed a quarter. Still, a quarter is not like a turtle. I watched the clock on the wall for an hour and 10 minutes. Then the door opened and my mother stepped out with Dr. Cohn. I wasn't surprised to see him. I didn't know he worked in the hospital. Hello, Peter, he said. Hello, Dr. Cohn. Did you get my turtle? Not yet, Peter, he said. But I do have something to show you. Here are some x-rays of your brother. I studied the x-rays as Dr. Cohn pointed out things to me. You see, he said, there's your turtle, right there. I looked hard. Will Dribble be in there forever? I asked. No, definitely not. We'll get him out. We gave Fudge some medicine already. That should do the trick nicely. What kind of medicine? I asked. What trick? Castor oil, Peter, my father said. Fudge took castor oil and milk of magnesia and prune juice, too. Lots of it. All those things will help to get Dribble out of Fudge's tummy. We'll just have to wait, Dr. Cohn said. Probably until tomorrow. Oh, shoot, that was his mother talking in the previous paragraph. My bad. Sorry, I'm not going back. We'll just have to wait, Dr. Cohn said. Probably until tomorrow or the day after. Fudge will have to spend the night here, but I don't think he's going to be swallowing anything that he isn't supposed to be swallowing from now on. How about Dribble? I asked. Will Dribble be all right? My mother and Dr. Cohn looked at each other. I knew the answer before he shook his head and said, I think you may have to get a new turtle, Peter. I don't want a new turtle, I said. Tears came to my eyes. I was embarrassed and wiped them away with the back of my hand. And then my mother started to run, and I had to sniffle. Then my nose started to run, and I had to sniffle. I want Dribble, I said. That's the only turtle I want. My mother took me home in a taxi. She told me my father was on his way to the hospital to be with Fudge. When we got home, she made me lamb chops for dinner, but I wasn't very hungry. My father came home late that night. I was still up. My father looked gloomy. He whispered to my mother, Not yet. Nothing yet. The next day was Saturday. No school. I spent the whole day in the hospital waiting room. There were plenty of people around, and magazines and books too. It wasn't like the hard bench in the emergency room, in the emergency hallway. It was more like a living room. I told everybody that my brother ate my turtle. They looked at me kind of funny. Did they believe him? But nobody ever said they were sorry to hear about my turtle. Never once. Well, the big deal is Fudge going to be okay, right? I mean, the turtle's one thing, but Fudge is another. My mother joined me for supper in the hospital coffee shop. I ordered a hamburger, but left most of it. Because right in the middle of supper, my mother told me that if the medicine didn't work soon, Fudge might have to have an operation to get Dribble out of him. My mother didn't eat anything. Because if you think about it, this might sound kind of funny, but like when baby eats a coin or a marble, it's just going to come out in their poop, right? But a turtle's significantly bigger, so coins can be like this big, but a turtle might be like that big. That night, my grandmother came to stay with me. My mother and father stayed at the hospital with Fudge. Things were pretty dreary at home. Every hour the phone rang. It was my mother calling from the hospital with a report. Not yet. I see, Grandma repeated. Nothing happened yet. Nothing happening yet. I was miserable. I was lonely. Does he miss Fudge? Grandma didn't notice. I even missed Fudge banging his pots and pans together. In the middle of the night, the phone rang again. I woke up and crept out into the hallway to hear what was going on. Grandma shouted, Whoopee, it's out! Good news at last! She hung up and turned to me. The medicine has finally worked, Peter. All that castor oil and milk of magnesia and prune juice finally worked. The turtle is out. Alive or dead? I asked. Peter Warren Hatcher, what a question! Grandma shouted. So my brother no longer had a turtle inside of him. And I no longer had a turtle. I didn't like Fudge as much as I thought I did before the phone rang. His emotions changed so fast. The next morning, Fudge came home from the hospital. My father carried him into the apartment. My mother's arms were loaded with presents. All for Fudge! My mother put the presents down and kissed him. She said, Fudgy can have anything he wants, anything at all. Mommy's so happy her baby's all better. It was disgusting. Ugh, presents and kisses and attention for Fudge. I couldn't even look at him. He was having fun. He probably wasn't even sorry he ate my turtle. That night, my father came home with the biggest box of all. It wasn't wrapped up or anything, but I knew it was another present. I turned away from my father. Peter, he said, this box is a surprise for you. Well, I don't want another turtle, I said. Don't think you can make me feel better with another turtle, because you can't. Who said anything about another turtle, son? Dad asked. You see, Peter, your mother and I think you've been a good sport about the whole situation. After all, Dribble was your pet. I looked up. Could I be hearing right? Did they really remember me and Dribble? I put my hand inside the box. I felt something warm and soft and furry. I knew it was a dog, but I pretended to be surprised when he jumped up on my lap and licked me. Fudge cried, "Ooh, doggy, see doggy!" He ran right over and grabbed my dog's tail. Fudge, my father said, taking him away. This is your brother's dog. Maybe someday you'll have a dog of your own, but this one belongs to Peter. Do you understand? Fudge nodded. Peter's dog. That's right, my father said. Peter's dog. Then he turned to me. And just to be sure, son, he said, we got a dog that's going to grow quite big, much too big for your brother to swallow. We all laughed. My dog was neat. I named him Turtle to remind me. The end. Now, if you're interested in reading more about Fudge and Peter and Aunt Sheila Tubman, for that matter, they are all in other books by Judy Blume. There were 3 books involving Fudge, and Sheila has her own book. I don't know if Jimmy has his own books, but I think you'd really enjoy them. All right, that's it.